What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we are here with the Eminence and Shadow team building guide for you here, guys. We're gonna be going over the best teams that you want to be building around each of the characters, and we're also going to be talking about what other variants can you do depending on the character that you want to build around exclusively. So if you guys do enjoy videos like this, man, definitely make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, as we are on the way to that 51,000 subscribers. I definitely do appreciate the support on the channel, guys. And with that out of the way, man, let's hop in and let's talk about it. By the way, just got out the shower, so my hair is tied up. That's why I have it with my towel. But yeah, regardless, guys, let's hop in and let's talk about what we got going on here with the collaboration. So in terms of team building, let's start out and we'll talk beta first, then alpha, then shadow. So let me remove alpha and shadow here, and let's talk the character beta and how you'd want to build around the character. So going to beta's passive here, guys, if we actually look in her passive here, she is a backline supportive character, so active even in sub slot. Remember that it means active even in sub slot, meaning you can still run her on field and get all the benefits. But beta here is going to say for each applicable ally participating in the battle, their basic stats increase by 6%, and applicable allies are going to be fairies and shadow. So what we're getting at exclusively off the beginning, and you can see here it says applicable allies a lot more in the passive here, is that we want to be running beta alongside other fairy characters. So right now, if we're going to be slotting a team here for beta, we want to focus on characters that are fairy race and or shadow himself from the collaboration. So again, if we wanted to build a team here, an example would be the Eminence and Shadow team, guys. We talk about it, right? Alpha is a fairy character as well. She is classified as an elf, right? So that counts as fairy in this game. So clan fairy for both beta and alpha. That means you can run them together. And then shadow, he is allowed to be run on the team as well, because remember in the passive of beta, it mentions that it for the applicable allies is fairies and shadow himself. So shadow would benefit towards the passive of of beta, right? So you're going to be getting that benefit. And then on the flip side, guys, shadow and alpha are also going to be very synergistic alongside beta as well. I mean, this is going to be a given, right? If you're going to run the main Eminence and Shadow team, they're all going to be good with each other. So let's talk teams that you wouldn't necessarily run alpha or, shadow there. So let's actually go to fairies, and we'll talk about some of the fairies you can run. So again, remember, alpha could be one of those characters you can run on the team. And if we're talking something like the Endura boss, where you really do need a full fairy team, alpha is going to be one of those characters that is going to be very, very strong. But remember, because beta is also counted as a backline, you can run her in the sub slot, and her passive will still provide benefits for characters in the front. So let's say, as an example, if we wanted to run beta in the backline, let's build the Chaos Endura team. So it would be LR King, you would have Lancelot, you would have alpha, and then beta would be in the backline. So this is the main meta team right now, guys, for the Endura Chaos difficulty. And you can see here, beta is used as a sub slot support for the main fairy characters on the team, being alpha, Lancelot, and LR King. So again, you can run beta as a backline support, but there could also be a team variant where, let's say you don't have alpha, right? You don't have alpha, you can actually put beta on the front, and then we could run a character like Helbram, where his Holy Relic is going to be providing very basic stats. So I've also seen variants of this team work on the Enduro boss. I've also seen no beta, but having alpha with like Helbram in the backline, right? Obviously you'd run the blue Helbram because you have to for the chaos difficulty. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much how it would go, right? If you wanted to build a team around other strong fairies, and the other strong fairies in the game being Lancelot, LR King, it makes a lot of sense, right? You get a lot of benefit when running this. So again, guys, yeah, for beta, it's exclusively going to be fairies, and it would be more so a team kind of variant like this, right? If you're really building around fairies, you're going to want to make sure you have, the strong ones like Lancelot, LR King, a few other ones that could be on the team as well. Could maybe be Chad King. You can maybe do LR Gloxinia as well, and even like Green Elaine, I think, could be another option too. Just in general, right? If we're talking general team builds there. But yeah, if we're talking Endura, it would be something along the lines of this, or beta in the back, alpha on the front. Or if we're doing, if you don't have alpha, you would, completely remove her. You'd move beta to the front, and then you'd run the blue Helbram backline as well. So That's pretty much the team variants for beta, guys. So it's either going to be a team like this where you're rocking, you know, beta alongside a bunch of fairies, or you're going to run the standard Eminence and Shadow team, which would just be the general characters from the collaboration. So you would just do the full Eminence and Shadow team, being Alpha, Beta, and Shadow himself. So there you guys go, man. That is going to be the team build around beta, guys. Let's hop in now to Alpha, and we'll talk exactly how we're going to be building this character as well. We kind of talked about it a little bit with beta already, in terms of the way you're going to be team building this character. But if we go to our passive here, guys, increases the hero's base stats by 8% for each applicable ally participating in the battle, and that's going to be, again, fairies and shadows. So that means that if you want to run this character and be successful with Alpha, for her to get benefits from the team, she needs to have other fairies alongside this character. So what that's pretty much insinuating for me, and even if we go through the rest of the passive here, it says when applicable allies, meaning that if you run anything but fairies and shadow, it's just not going to work. So you really have to run, you know, applicable allies, guys, right? Yeah, so literally it's going to be only fairies or shadow. So based on that right there, we can say the same thing we said for beta, right? If we're talking like a fairy team, right, we're going exclusively with, you know, characters like LR King. We're talking Lancelot, very dominant fairy characters, and then your backline could be, you know, beta on the team being probably the best backline you can run, or a character like Helbram with his Holy Relic where he's providing 20% basic stats. So you do have some flexibility in that sense. Again, we talked about other good fairies. If we're talking general teams, not necessarily for, you know, Endura specifically, but, you know, Green Elaine is a very solid fairy. You know, LR Gloxinia is a really good fairy as well. Chad King is still, you know, he has his, you know, options where he's able to be good. So, you know, there is that right there, guys. And yeah, I mean, you know, that's going to be the main fairy type variant you're going to be running if you're rocking something like this, especially for, you know, the Endura boss, where you have to run a full blue team, and Alpha is going to be the one that actually does negate a lot of the effects of that fight. So I think she's going to be very good. So, you know, again, it's going to be the exact same thing with beta, guys. If you don't have Alpha, let's say, then you move beta. If you don't have beta, then you would put Helbram, right? It's going to be a very similar kind of position, but this would be kind of the team variants that you would go for, exclusively for a fairy team. Now, if we're talking Alpha on a hybrid, we could actually run her alongside you know, beta, and then with shadow, again, as we talked about with beta being able to be run with shadow, so we could actually run kind of a human fairy kind of mix, and this would work because of the fact that they both buff shadow in their passive regardless, which does allow them to be successful with this character. And if we're talking PvP exclusively, shadow is going to be very good alongside these two other characters, because with Alpha, she's providing it so that the first two attacks are going to be only damage from basic stats and no card effects, and then you're going to be getting damage cap as well. Right, so the team is very benefited from having Alpha on the front. Beta is going to be providing the defense related and the support that she's able to provide, you know, attack related and, you know, basic stat wise. And then Shadow, I mean, he's going to be, you know, the DPS of the team. So, alright guys, so that's going to be Beta and Alpha right there in terms of team building. Let's talk Shadow now. So we talked already the Eminence and Shadow team again. Beta and Alpha alongside Shadow, we've already, you know, kind of addressed that. Now for Shadow, if we're talking about his kit, let's actually look at what Shadow's doing in his passive. The basic stats of applicable allies increase by 5% for each one participating in the battle, and the applicable allies are humans and fairies. So that means that Shadow is a character that you can run alongside the human race characters as well. And that does not mean that you need to run, you know, Shadow alongside only, you know, Beta and Alpha. That means you can run them alongside any other fairy characters and any other human characters. So let's say let's just build a kind of general human team here as an example, right? So we could go a character like you are Escanor, we could go with a character like Chaos Arthur, and we could have a team like this, right? So you have Chaos Arthur, he could, you know, draw damage away, especially once he does apply the taunt. You have Escanor here to be another damage dealer, and then you have Shadow, and then for your backline you could just do kind of either Sigurd, you could do the Red Jenna, you have a few flex options as well. So again guys, it's really going to come down to how you want to go about building the team, and because you have such flexibility with Shadow's teams, you can even do, you know, if we go to like the fairy side, you could even do a team where you don't even have Beta and Alpha, but you run, you know, a character like Lancelot and then LR King. you know, LR King could definitely be an option. He wouldn't obviously get the turn 1 rank up, but he could be pretty good. Or even a character like New Wings King here, right? New Wings King is applicable allies for only 7 daily sins, but for each fairy ally on the battlefield, it's going to increase the hero's attack related stats. So if you run him alongside another fairy, you actually are going to get attack related for that character. So yeah, I mean, you can run other fairies, guys. Ideally, the best two that would be alongside Shadow would be the new Eminence and Shadow characters, and in your backline at that point would just kind of be either a, you know, buffer fairy, like you could do you know, LR King in the backline. You could also do a situation where you're like, okay, let's run like a Red Jenna backline, or even Sigurd here. You could keep him for Shadow specifically. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you're going with a team like this, you would definitely want to buff the other fairies on your team, because the longer they alive, you know, the better Shadow's gonna do. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like in terms of the team building wise, you would do something like this, right? Because you're giving the 20% basic stats to these two, and then Shadow here is going to be your main DPS. The only thing I think right now that the Eminence team kind of lacks is they don't really have like a dedicated taunt. But yeah, I mean, this team is still again another option as well for Shadow. But yeah, guys, so remember that you have a lot of flexibility. You can run fairies alongside him. He will benefit. You know, a character like LR Gloxinia will also benefit him, because it's for, you know, any type of character, right? For LR Glox, if you go to his passive right here, his passive is not exclusive to a certain race or anything like that. So, you know, you would give the defense related stats to Shadow, and he would benefit from having, you know, Gloxinia on the team, and also giving him basic stats too. So yeah, I mean, again, guys, a lot of flexibility with this. You can run a bunch of different variations of characters. You can run King, you can run you know, Lancelot there. He's human and fairy, so it doesn't matter for Lancelot, but you have a lot of other flexibility in terms of team building with this team. So that's pretty much the team building guide right there, guys, for the Eminence and Shadow collaboration. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do we like the collab characters, guys, and the way they kind of structured the teams? Are you guys excited though as well that Beta and Alpha are fairy characters too, or would you guys have liked them to be unknown? Let me know in the comment section below. But that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. That's going to be the team building guide right there for the Eminence and Shadow collaboration. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.